Okay, so this is going to be a very important video to watch, one that I've been wanting to make for a little bit now, especially if you're a more consumer app, more B2C kind of software, rather than a B2B. And I'm not going to have any crazy editing on this video. I'm just going to sit here and yap for a few minutes, but I really wanted to talk about the direction that marketing is going for software companies, specifically, like I mentioned, B2C consumer apps, and what so many softwares are doing completely wrong. Now, I just looked at a balance sheet off of one of our clients. He worked with an agency before, and they spent about $300,000 on ads within the period of like 6 months. And from that, only made $60,000. That is really, really bad. And I'm noticing this sort of pattern emerging, and a lot of apps are following this, not only in paid ads, but in organic content as well, where they have no clue what kind of creatives to actually be posting, what kind of copy to be writing, or on top of that, what to actually be focusing on to bring in the best possible results. So let's get into it. The problem with a lot of these companies is they don't truly understand two things. One, what is it that their ideal audience is actually looking for in an ad, in a piece of content? And two, what the algorithms are looking for also in paid ads or in organic content. And you really need both of these, because each of these is looking for their own thing. The algorithm is looking that, obviously, if it's paid ads, it's looking whether your desired action is being taken or not. And for organic content, they want their audience to stay on their app for as long as possible. So if they see that your content is keeping them on Instagram for longer, on TikTok for longer, they're going to push your content out more, because the longer they get someone to stay on their platform, the more ad revenue they make. So we really want to play into both of these. So let's tackle the problem of the algorithm first. First and foremost, your videos need to be broken down very, very specifically. Your hook needs to actually hook people's attention and keep them on your video for longer than 3 seconds. You need to retain their attention throughout the entire video. And then at the end, you need to have a strong enough call to action that they actually take the next step that you are wanting them to take. So how do you create a strong hook? What we've noticed, and I have so many agency friends in so many different niches, so this is a thing that works across niches, across offer types and everything. The best sort of hook is one that directly calls out your audience. So for example, let's say you're working with, businesses doing $50,000 a month and more, and you're helping them with their paid ads. You would literally say, are you a business doing $50,000 a month or more and struggling to scale your paid ads? That is literally the sort of call out that you would be making. And especially in B2C, because these consumers want to feel like they're being related to, you can call them out the same way. Be like, are you a college student who also struggles to do X, Y, and Z? Are you trying to start a side hustle but failing to do X, Y, and Z? Call out that pain point, and then at the end of the hook, promise something that they will get if they stick through the entire video. So for example, again, if it's a business doing $50,000 a month or more, you can be like, are you a drop shipper doing $50,000 a month or more and struggling with your paid ads? Well, I have a secret that will X, Y, and Z help you achieve desired result. You call them out, you call out their pain, and then you promise relief from their pain if they stick through to the end of the video. And then all throughout the video, almost like Mr. Beast does it, you want to be teasing this reward at the end of the video. So if you've ever watched one of Mr. Beast's videos, he's always saying like, in this video, we're doing X, Y, and Z, and then we're going to have an F1 car race a cheetah. And then all throughout the video, after nearly every single event that he showcases, he teases that end result again. He teases that cheetah racing an F1 car. This is the same thing we want to be doing, but obviously on a more micro scale because we're running short form content and short form paid ads. So it's almost like throughout the video, every topic you talk about, you want it to tease something that's going to happen within the next 2 or 3 seconds. And then when you get to that, relieve, that tension, give them what you teased, and tease something else that's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 seconds. Structuring videos like this plays into the algorithm, and the algorithm loves it so much. And it's crushing for both organic content and paid ads because both of those keep your users or your ideal audience on the platform. And now you might be thinking, okay, but how do I speak to my ideal audience? How do I actually, stop the scroll in a way that they would recognize, in a way that they would react to? And obviously we covered a little bit about this, a second ago, about calling them out directly, saying exactly who they are, naming their pain, and then offering a specific relief from their pain, but keeping them throughout the video and filtering out everyone else who you don't want is a completely different ballgame. This is where you have to actually dive a lot deeper into your audience and start playing or start using a bunch of little tricks. So for example, you might use words that they react to. So for example, let's say they're in the tech software field, you might start saying things like MRR, CSS, different things if you're teaching them about obviously scaling their software business or if you're teaching them about coding. This is what will grab all the right people and then filter out all the wrong people because they're not going to have a clue what you're saying. They might have related with you in the beginning where you hook them in by saying, are you also a college student? But then you start bringing up a bunch of math references and they're going to be like, oh, well, I'm not in calculus. This doesn't apply to me. So they're going to drop off and you only keep the people engaged who are your direct ideal audience. Now, especially in B2C, this works really, really well. And on top of that, the content style has been shifting a lot. If you look at Notion's Google Ads, you can go on Google Transparency Center and search up their ads. It is very much full of just UGC content. There's not much of this motion design, super complicated stuff. Base 44 is another great example. They've been running some crazy YouTube ads recently, all again involving majority UGC. This is because people realized at the end of the day, people like connecting with people, not necessarily softwares. So they started pushing more personalized, more almost like conversational videos where it's literally like a creator talking to their best friend. I remember back in the day, Wix would be running a bunch of these crazy complex motion design videos, but even though they're more of a, B2B kind of business to an extent, have began running more UGC style videos. So I guess this video isn't even necessarily for, B2C over B2B. Everyone is switching to a more content creator style video. We're in a content creator economy right now. And if you want to find these creators, the best way to do it, and there's some apps to do it, but the best way to get started with it is go on Facebook, find UGC content creator groups, join them, and literally just make a post and put your budget in there. If you don't know how much you should be charging, the average rates go between $10 a video for super duper simple stuff for like the Latin market to about $60 to $120 per post for someone who doesn't necessarily have a following. It really depends on whether you're the one doing editing, whether the creator is expected to be doing the editing, and how crazy complex, how many shots they need to get, all that kind of stuff. The average that we're currently paying for these very UGC simple kind of videos is about $20 to $30 a video for fluent English speakers. And we handle the editing with our in-house team and all that kind of stuff. We provide the scripts, we handle the editing. All they have to do is just sit down, record exactly what we tell them to, and these videos crush on both organic and paid ads. The biggest thing here is being able to vet these creators and be able to direct these creators in a way that literally all this stuff that I taught in this video, you have to be able to explain that to them in a way that they understand and fit your scripts to match their natural personality type. So some creators might naturally be a lot more outgoing. Some might be a lot more reserved. You want to make sure that your message is still being delivered and in a way that fits their personality type. Because I've had so many instances where I've seen a creator who's super outgoing be given this very tame and simple script, and it doesn't really come out, that good. And then on the other hand, I've seen a very shy creator be given a very outgoing script with lots of different shots, a bunch of different sequences, and they feel awkward. They have no clue what they're doing, or at least, it seems that way on camera, and it doesn't fit. So you want to really make sure that you're directing your creators in a good way. You're picking good creators, obviously vet them, ask for their portfolios first, and then get them very involved in the content creation process. Have them be able to talk to your editors. Your whole goal is to establish a long-term relationship with them so that they can keep pushing out more content, especially on a creator that you land that really knows what they're doing and their content is just performing so well. Alex Hormozi said it really, really well, where oftentimes you're going to get bored of your marketing way before your audience does. So if you think about like the Nike Just Do It, for example, they've been running that for so long now and it works. So there's no reason to cut it. But from their perspective, they might be thinking like, oh, we should try new things. We should try new things. And a lot of times I see this, especially in B2C apps and even like e-com and other businesses and other niches where they will cut things that are working really, really well just because they get bored of it and they think they need to innovate when they really don't. So 70% of your time should be spent on the stuff that's working. That's why it's so important to form these long-term relationships, because don't expect to change people in and out quickly. Give them a chance to prove themselves. And if they're proving themselves and it's proven to be working, continue to push their stuff out. 20% of your time should be spent on doing a one-off tweak. So maybe it's the same script, but a different creator, the same creator, but a different script. And then only 10% of your time should be spent on a completely new idea. This is completely new creator, completely new background, completely new targeting. This is where you have fun and you play around with it. But quite literally 90% of it should be pretty much the same thing. And if I was to put everything into one idea, I guess it would be the organic revolution is happening and people sell more than what your app actually offers. So get creators, get creative, and start posting content that feels like talking to a best friend. And if I just had to drop one more note as well, when your creators are making content, they are not speaking on a big stage. Keep in mind that they are talking to just one person. There's one person swiping through their phone. So don't say stuff like, you guys are going to love this. Speak to one person. Be like, you are going to love this. This is something that you, or I guess I wish I had, and now I want to share it with you. Not share it with you guys, just share it with you, the one person watching this video. So this was a quick video on where marketing is going and how important it is to be pushing UGC content in this day and age.